Hi, in this video I just want to be clear about the difference between rhythm and tempo and pulse, which at one level may seem very obvious to most people, but it does cause some confusion because of course I can have a rhythm in 4/4, but that rhythm could go very quickly against one tempo or could go very slowly against another tempo. And whatever the tempo is, we need to have a steady pulse. For example, we're going to clap some of these rhythms in a moment, but when you look at the first rhythm, sometimes if I ask someone to clap a rhythm like that or to play a rhythm like that, they know the note values, but they don't relate their counting to a pulse. So people do things like this on the first rhythm. They'll go 1, 2, and then 1, 1, and then they'll go, oh, right, half, 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 half. Oh, and what's the last note? Oh, 1, 2. Well, you see the problem with that. We've no idea what the tempo is, the speed of that, and we certainly haven't got a regular pulse. It's just pulseless. So even though they might be counting the values in some kind of way, they're not relating that to a tempo or to a steady pulse. So hopefully that illustrates the importance of doing this. And this will be very obvious to many people, but it's not obvious to everybody. And also some people think they're delivering a rhythm with a steady pulse at a steady tempo, when in fact they're not. They're just counting the values of notes. So you may well already own a metronome. And if you don't, you might find it a very useful acquisition. You can get one of those traditional metronomes that ticks, that sort of wind up clockwork things. You can buy an electronic metronome, but these days you can download an app quite easily with a metronome on it. And you can find that this is really useful to getting used to working with different speeds, different tempi, but also disciplining yourself to working with a steady pulse. So not every music teacher in the world is entirely happy about students using metronomes. Some people say it makes you play unmusically because you've just got this pulse thumping at you. Well, there is always that danger, and there comes a point where you want to get rid of the metronome and then maybe be a little bit flexible with the pulse in order to be expressive. But you can't really be flexible with a pulse if you're not entirely sure what the fundamental underlying pulse is. So I'm a great believer in the metronome, and certainly for getting disciplined with reading rhythms accurately, I think it's an essential tool. So we're going to use a metronome during the course of this video, just to kind of get used to the advantage and just to see what it's telling us and how it's helping us. So first of all, thinking about a metronome. Well, we've got a metronome set up at the moment. And this is working in 4/4 time. So in other words, there are 4 beats in each bar. And this one is quite useful because it lights up the beat. So you'll see the dot going 1, 2, 3, 4 across the screen. So that's helpful. It kind of shows you where you are in the bar. And you can see that there's a tempo marking. So this one is set up on 60. Now, just to be clear about this, if a metronome says 60, what does that actually mean? Well, 60 means 60 beats per minute. So one way of calculating this is to think, well, if there are 60 beats per minute, there must be 1 beat every second. So if you've got 120 on your metronome, 120 beats per minute means that there must be 2 beats for every second. So it gives you an idea. And if you're wanting to judge a tempo from a metronome mark, you can always think, well, what's the speed of a second and how does this metronome mark relate to it? So that's quite a useful thing to do if you haven't got a metronome handy. But if I set this metronome ticking at 60, in 4/4, let's just get a feel for what that sounds like. So you see what we've got now is 1 beat per second at 60. And you can also see a little dot lighting up across the screen going 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you also know where you are in the bar. And of course, I could easily change the tempo. So this time I've got the metronome set at a tempo of 90. So you can see we've taken the speed up. What does it sound like at 90? It sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So you could go for any speed that you want to choose. But that's the benchmark, just thinking it's about how many beats there are per minute. And if you use the benchmark of 60 as giving you 60 beats per minute, therefore 1 beat per second, you kind of know where you are with a metronome. So that's the metronome. And quite often at the beginning of a piece of music, it will say crotchet equals 60 or minim equals 80 or something. So that's telling you the speed of the fundamental beat. And we'll come back and say more about time signatures very shortly. But for now, we're just getting this idea of, well, what are these different speeds, these different tempi about? Once we've got that sorted, well, what the metronome is delivering for us is an even pulse. The great thing about the metronome is that it doesn't lie to us. So when we play with a metronome or clap a rhythm with a metronome, that's going to keep us bang on a steady pulse and bang on the prescribed speed. And that gets rid of the danger of us relying on ourselves for the pulse, where we could think, well, we could slow down, we could speed up. And what tends to happen until you've got kind of an inbuilt metronome going is that when you come to long notes, you tend to count faster. So you get a 4-beat note and you go 1, 2, 3, 4. So you speed up as you go. And when you get quicker moving notes, like these quavers, for example, these 8th notes, well, then you tend to slow down and you go 1, half, 2, half. So we end up with the speed going all over the place and we end up with the pulse not being steady. So we need to get used to working with a metronome. Some people find this very easy to do. Other people find it actually quite difficult to do. So see where you're at with this. If it comes easily, great, move on. If it doesn't, I should live with this for a little bit and just get used to it. So the very first thing we're going to do now is just get used to clapping a pulse that lines up with the metronome. So we'll use the setting we've got. We're in 4/4 time, so we've got 4 beats in a bar. We're set at 60, so that's that 60 beats per minute, 1 beat per second thing. And I'm going to set the metronome going, and then you might want to join in with me just clapping the pulse. So we're not clapping a rhythm, we're just clapping a pulse. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So do you see what I'm doing there? Just trying to get used to clapping that pulse. Absolutely bang in time. And it's quite easy just to be slightly in front of the metronome, slightly behind it, to have some kind of irregular pulse going there. All right, let's just try that one again and see if we can do that quite happily. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Well, I hope that went okay for you. If you found that difficult, don't worry about it. It's just that you're probably not used to doing stuff like this. And you kind of assume that there's nothing difficult about it. Actually, it's a bit harder than it seems, isn't it? Just getting used to delivering that nice steady pulse. Then you get a feel for, oh yeah, okay, that's what 60 is. That's 1 beat per second. And if you get a feel for the different speeds, and how to deliver a steady pulse at different speeds, then you have the fundamental tools that will enable you to deliver a rhythm against that tempo and pulse. But if you haven't done work on the tempo and the pulse first, the rhythm's never going to be safe. Okay, well, let's see if we can just change the speed now, and we're going to go a bit faster. So here we go at 90, and let's see if we can clap to 90. So now we've got used to 60, we've got to listen to our faster pulse and then log on to that. So we'll listen to it for a bar and then we'll try clapping to 90. So join in with me. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. How did you get on with that? Sometimes there's just that little bit of a shock of adjustment. You know, you get used to 60 and then, oh, 90 is going quite a bit faster, isn't it? Okay, now we're going to try doing this without me clapping. So you see if you can clap to this pulse and stay exactly with the metronome. Okay, so we'll have a bar for nothing. So I'll kind of count you in and then leave you to clap a few bars with this metronome and see if you're really bang in time with it. So here we go. 3, go. Okay, now I don't know how you got on with that. If that was all easy peasy, great, that's wonderful. You can move on. If you're thinking, oh, actually, that's quite a difficult thing to do, then you might want to just rewind this part of the video and rehearse that until you're very happy just delivering that nice steady pulse with the metronome. Okay, let's move up and we'll take a different speed. So now we've got 120, haven't we? So if we've got 120 beats per minute, that means we've got 2 beats per second. So obviously we're now going at twice the speed at which we started. So this time I'm going to set it going and see if you can clap along with the pulse without me demonstrating it first. Okay, so here's a bar for nothing. 2, 3, 4. Okay, wonder how you got on with that. Well, let's try it one more time. This time I'll clap as well. And then if you were struggling with that, you'll have somebody to kind of latch onto a little bit. Okay, so here we go. Are we ready? It's going quite a bit faster. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so how did that work for you? If you're very happy clapping a pulse at 60 and 90 and 120, well, that's absolutely great. So it's partly adjusting to the speed, getting used to the speed, being able to deliver a nice even pulse. Okay, now then, if we are happy about this whole business of tempo, speeds, what that means, and we're happy about getting a nice steady pulse, well, then we're able to start thinking about attaching rhythms to the tempo and to the pulse. So we're going to go back to the 60 speed now, and I'm just going to invite you to clap crotchets or quarter notes. All right, so as you're clapping these, think of them as notes happening on each beat, but try to picture them as these quarter notes or crotchets. So we're just filling up bars of 4 crotchets or 4 quarter notes in each bar, but we're trying to picture them. So if we saw them as a rhythm, we think, I know exactly what that is. These are sitting on the beat. Okay, so just a handful of bars of quarter notes or crotchets back at the speed of 60. So here's a bar for nothing. Here we go. And crotchet, 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 quarter note, quarter note, quarter note, quarter note. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now that's worth rehearsing in itself. You might say, well, what's different about that from just clapping the beats? Actually, nothing. Because if the beats are crotchets or quarter notes, and we'll come back to the fact that the beats might be something else in due course, but at the moment we're working on the basis that the beats are crotchets or quarter notes, then obviously every crotchet is a beat, isn't it? So that's a kind of useful way of thinking, well, this is kind of underpinning what we're doing in relation to the pulse. Okay, well, let's take the same speed again. And this time we're going to fill up our bars with these minims or half notes. So in other words, we know that that has got 2 beats, but we need those beats to be absolutely steady, metronomic, and we need them to relate to a steady tempo. So we'll stay at 60 because that's a kind of reasonably comfortable speed at which to think this. And now we're going to fill up our bars with minims or half notes. And as you're doing this, again, if you can kind of picture them in your mind, that helps to make the link with the written notation. Okay, let's have a bar for nothing. Here we go. 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now can you see what I started to do there? We start off by saying, well, these minims, these half notes, are worth 2 beats each, so we just clap them, count 2 on each one. And then I just moved to trying to relate them to the beats of the bar by saying, well, if we're filling our bars with minims or half notes, the first one takes up beats 1 and 2. The second one starts on beat 3 and takes up beats 3 and 4. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4. Because as rhythms get more complicated, it's more and more useful to know which beat of the bar we are actually on. Okay, hope that makes sense. Now then, let's go on and think about these notes for a minute, the quavers or the eighth notes. So if this is now ticking at 60, and it's delivering crotchet beats or quarter note beats, when we have to clap quavers, we're going to have to deliver 2 of those for each beat, aren't we? So 2 eighth notes are going to fit a quarter note beat. So we're now going to try clapping quaver rhythms. Now be careful that you don't do something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, because that's going too quickly on the first one, and then the next one's too long, isn't it? So we've got to have an even division of each beat. So if I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you see how all of those notes are now the same length? It's a very different rhythm from this. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what some people do. That's what they play or they clap when they see these quavers, these eighth notes. But they're not actually clapping eighth notes or quavers. They're doing something much quicker, followed by something quite a bit longer. So this is going to be an equal division of each beat, each pulse, isn't it? So we've now got to think quavers or eighth notes. Listen to the pulse and then think I need 2 of those in each beat. Now there's a little trick for doing this, and it's to use this and that we've talked about a little bit before. So if the pulse is 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm trying to clap these eighth notes or quavers, I can go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and the and just helps us to place the second quaver or the second eighth note in exactly the second half of each beat. Okay, so let's see if we can do that now. So I'll get the metronome ticking and we're just going to clap these eighth notes or these quavers. Okay, so here goes. Here's a bar for nothing. 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now I hope that made sense. Now I'm going to ask you to have a go at doing that on your own without me clapping. So you're listening to this crotchet pulse, this quarter note pulse, and then you're thinking I've got to divide each of those pulses into 2 notes that are of equal value to deliver these quavers or these eighth notes. So I'll count a bar in, and then you see if you can get straight into clapping these quavers or eighth notes. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. Okay, how did that go for you? Again, with all these things, if it goes well, great, you can congratulate yourself and move on. If you're thinking, oh, actually, that didn't go very well, it wasn't very even, or I couldn't quite get them onto the beats, well, rehearse that, because if you're not used to this, it takes a little bit of practice to do it. Okay, now, of course, in real musical life, we don't have a piece where the whole rhythm is made up of quarter notes or eighth notes or half notes. We have a mixture of these things. And so one reason for practicing what we're doing here is to get used to those kind of individual units, so that then you'll have the confidence to kind of combine them. So when you have a rhythm like this, well, you know, we start with this half note, we've then got a couple of quarter notes, we've then got 4 eighth notes, we're finished with a half note. So minim, crotchet, crotchet, 4 quavers, minim. We need to be able to move from one to the next, don't we? So let's have a look at this first rhythm, this 4/4 rhythm, and see if we can actually clap it. Now, before we try this together, I'm going to give you a chance to do this on your own. So I'm going to set the metronome going at 60, and I'll give you some spare bars, some spare measures, and then, you know, you'll have time just to sort of experiment with that. And if it goes wrong, there'll be time to start again and see if you can actually clap this rhythm in time with the metronome. Don't worry about this second rhythm for now, just focus on the first one. So good luck with this. Okay, I'll give you a bar for nothing. 2, 3, 4. Okay, now I wonder how that went for you. So the people who are very happy dealing with all the exercises we've done so far might suddenly find that you're being challenged. Now you've got to combine these rhythms. It may be you just clap that straight off, no trouble at all. Brilliant. Just keep moving forwards if that's you. If you're thinking, actually that didn't go too well, or I found it difficult to deliver that with the pulse ticking, or, you know, I didn't think I had the right number of beats in every bar, you know, all this kind of stuff. Well, anything that you're not confident about, just keep rehearsing that. And it doesn't matter how many times you repeat that, and it doesn't matter if you get to the point of memorizing the rhythm, that's absolutely fine. It's just getting used to being able to switch now from one rhythmic unit to another. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, let's have another go at doing it, but this time I'll clap that rhythm with you, and then we can sort of begin to think, okay, was I right? Was I wrong? Did it fit with the pulse? Was the tempo nice and stable? You know, how did it go? So we'll count 4 for nothing, and then we'll clap it together. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Okay, now did you see how I actually did that? By counting the beats, but when I came to the quavers, I started to count the ands as well. So I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. You see how that works? Okay, let's try it again together. 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Okay, I hope that kind of makes sense to you. Again, rehearse that as many times as you need to. The time invested repeating and rehearsing these rhythms will just pay off hugely for the rest of your musical life. because this sort of thing absolutely snookers people all the way up to quite an advanced level sometimes. When you're actually sight reading stuff, well, it can be really approximate with rhythm, I can tell you. So if you can nail it down, but you see what I'm trying to do? I'm not starting by talking about the rhythm. I'm starting by talking about a steady pulse and talking about the tempo, what's the speed of the music, and then I'm pinning the rhythm to it. That's the critical thing. Okay, let's stick with this first 4/4 exercise for a moment longer. This time, I'm going to take the tempo up. So you can see that the screen has now changed to 90. So we kind of got used to 90 earlier on, didn't we? But we're going to have this faster pulse. So we're going to think exactly the same thing. We're going to deliver exactly the same rhythm. We're going to have a nice steady pulse. But now the speed, the tempo, is faster. So, of course, the challenge of that is we've got to think quicker through that rhythm. So if you've rehearsed it at a slower speed, well, that then makes it easier to do it at a faster speed. And therein lies a clue. When you're learning a piece of music and you might be struggling with the rhythm or the flow of it, whether it's the rhythm that's tripping you up or the technical challenge of actually playing it or singing it, one of the key answers is to slow it down, because if you have a slower pulse, of course, you have more thinking time. Okay, well, now we've done it at 60, we're going to try at 90. So same rhythm, I'll give you a bar for nothing, and let's see if we can do it. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Okay, shall we try that again? Now we've got over the shock of 90. So bar for nothing. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Okay, now I wonder how that went for you. There'll be some people who are quite happy with that, I'm sure. There'll be some people who just about managed it at 60 and then they've been defeated by it at 90 just because we're going at that faster speed. If 90 is defeating you, rewind to 60, have another few goes, get used to it, and then take it on to 90. And as I say, if you end up sort of memorizing the rhythm, that doesn't matter particularly. But when you look at this, how many times in a piece of music would you find a combination of those rhythms? Zillions of times. So the more you can make friends with it, the better. And I mean, if you get bored and you're thinking, oh, I'd like to do a different rhythm, well, just for the fun of it, you could take the same rhythm and go backwards if you want to. You know, from the last note, you could go 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, just for the fun of going backwards. Anyway, let's move on and see if we can now deliver the same rhythm at a faster speed. So I'm moving up to this 120 speed now. Okay, I'm going to let you have a go at it first. So we'll have a bar for nothing. See if you can clap the 4/4 rhythm at 120. Okay, here's the bar for nothing. 2, 3, 4. Aha, how did that go for you? Did that catch you on the hop? It might well have done, because suddenly, oh goodness, that's the speed, and you get left behind on the first note. So adjusting to the speed is part of what we're trying to do here. Okay, let's try doing that together. So here's a bar for nothing. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Okay, let's just try that again straight away. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Okay, it's quite a nifty speed, isn't it? So if you had trouble keeping up with that one, well, it's just adjusting to that new speed. All right, I think we're getting the idea as to how this goes. Well, there's a second exercise on the board, and I just wanted to do this because this time we're changing to 3 beats in a bar. We're still doing crotchet beats or quarter note beats, so that's just the same. But now we've got used to counting 4 beats in every bar. We're now going to shift to counting 3 beats in every bar. Now, most of what we see here we're already familiar with. We've got a bar of quarter notes or crotchets. There's a half note, a minim, followed by another crotchet or a quarter note. Right at the end, we've got one of these dotted notes, the dotted minim or the dotted half note. So that's 3 beats, isn't it? And then in this bar, this measure here, we've got another dotted note, and there's just a little bit of maths to think about there, because this is beat 1, and we said that a dotted crotchet or a dotted quarter note is worth 1.5 beats. Remember why? The dot adds on half the value of the note. So if that's worth 1, the dot's worth half, total value 1.5. Well, okay, but trying to count these beats, how do I count 1.5 beats? Well, what you do is you count 1. We're still going to be here on 2 because the dot is going to be on 2. Then this quaver or this 8th note is going to be on the second half of 2. So that's going to be on the and after 2. And then this last quarter note or crotchet is going to be on 3. So do you see what I'm getting at? When you come to this bit, you can't really sort of clap it and go 1.5, oh, half, because it won't relate to a pulse. You've got to keep this 1, 2, 3 pulse going. So if you think, well, I've got 1 for the quarter note or the crotchet, I'm going to count 2 when I move on to the dot, because that's the extra half beat that's taking up the first half of beat 2. And then this quaver or this 8th note is going to come on the and. This rhythm is going to go 1, 2, and 3. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so that might just help you to deal with that rhythm. Dotted rhythms like that often get people in a terrible fix. So hopefully that helps to see that we're not just thinking that's 1.5 beats long. We need to know that, but actually knowing that it's 1.5 beats long doesn't particularly help us to clap the rhythm, because what we need to know is when does the next note come? And the next note comes on the second half of beat 2. So 1, 2, and 3. So hopefully you can see how that rhythm then relates to a pulse and how we can use the and to place that 8th note, that quaver there. All right, now I've got some different speeds now. The first one I've got is 50. So this is going to be obviously slightly slower than 1 beat per second. So we're just getting used to exploring different tempi, different speeds. And you can see we've switched into 3/4. We've got 3 dots on the screen now that should help us to deliver this. So let's have a look at this rhythm at 50. And let's just throw you in straight away. I'm going to get the metronome ticking at 50. I'll count a bar, and then you try and clap that rhythm. And I'll give you some spare bars, then in case it goes wrong, you can always start again. Okay, good luck. Here we go. 2, 3. Okay, now I wonder how that went. Possibly a bit more awkward for people who are less familiar with doing the exercise we're doing here. Stick with it, it can only get better. Okay, great. Let's try doing this together now. All right, so we're doing exactly the same 3/4 rhythm. So here's a bar for nothing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's just do that again together straight away. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, in some ways, it's great to have a slow speed, isn't it? Because there's more thinking time. In other ways, actually going with slow speeds is sometimes quite hard. You kind of want to rush on a bit if you're not careful. So slow speeds come with challenges as well as fast speeds. All right, let's take it up to 80, deliver the same rhythm at a faster speed. So I'll let you try it first. Here's a bar for nothing. 2, 3. Okay, let's try that together. So here's a bar for nothing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and one more for luck. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. Great stuff. Again, just rewind, rehearse it as many times as you want to. And finally, let's do this at a faster tempo, 110. Okay, so we might as well just clap this together, but let's just get used to this speed first. Okay, ready? I'll count in a bar. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 3. 1, 2, 3. And again for luck. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, well, we've done some quite intense work during this session, haven't we, on actually translating the knowledge that we were talking about earlier. So coming back to this theory that I expounded right at the beginning, that there's a difference between theory and understanding. So the theory is kind of like, yeah, okay, we need to know that this has got 2 beats and that's got 1 beat and that's got half a beat, and we need to know about dotted notes and all the rest of it. But then actually understanding that in such a way that we can deliver the rhythm is beyond the knowledge of just knowing how many beats to count on each note. We've then got to really think, well, if there are 4 beats in each bar, or if there are 3 beats in each bar, they've got to go at a steady speed that delivers our steady pulse. We've got to know what that speed is, so we're happy about the tempo. And then we've got to pin all these notes to that pulse and to that tempo. And the big question we're asking is, when does the next note come? And that's really especially exemplified in situations like this, where 1.5 beats is what? A sort of slightly meaningless thing, isn't it? But if we know that the next note comes on the second half of beat 2, we know that when we come to this bar, this measure, we've got to count 1, 2, and 3, because we know that this note is on the and after 2. 1, 2, and 3. And by having this steady pulse going all the way through, we can place that and absolutely precisely. Now, you can't go through the rest of your life performing in public if that's what you end up doing with a metronome ticking. So the metronome needs to become an inbuilt metronome. So it may seem a rather sad suggestion I'm going to make now, but actually living with the metronome is no bad thing. Just setting a metronome at a speed and just thinking, can I clap a pulse and keep absolutely in time with the metronome? Do I begin to internalize roughly what 110 is, or what 60 is, or what 120 is? So I've got a pretty good idea what those speeds are. That's a helpful thing to do. And then just really getting used to pinning rhythms to the pulse and to the tempo. So don't be worried if you spend quite a bit of your life just living with those 2 rhythms, just getting used to doing it. And if that's a struggle, well, go back to the earlier stuff that we were doing in this video, just thinking, can I deliver a series of quarter notes or crotchets? Can I deliver a series of half notes or minims? Can I deliver a series of 8th notes or quavers? Could I alternate one with another? You know, so you just build up your skills in moving around these kind of rhythmic units. And if we can get these kinds of rhythms going, that's going to take you to most pieces of music. Now, life can sometimes get more complicated, and we will get there later in the course, but everything we're doing is incremental. So the great thing is try not to move on until you've secured what we're doing at the moment. And when you feel happy, think you've got it, fine, move on. That would be great. The whole advantage of this kind of video course is that you can rewind, you can repeat, you can rehearse things over and over again. And rhythm and pulse and tempo, they're things that we really have to drill. The funny thing is, when we learn to play an instrument or we learn to sing, we spend a lot of time talking about notes, the pitch of notes, which one are we playing or singing next. We spend far less time talking about rhythm and tempo and pulse. So this course is hopefully a real opportunity to redress that balance, and it's often the thing that can really empower you as a performer.